what's next? What's next? What's the deal? How can we break the record? And so we're intentionally, right, keeping our eye on the scoreboard to make sure that we are always pushing.
Welcome to the No Limits Podcast, where limits do not exist, where you can create cash flow, equity, and real freedom with the power of real estate.
3, 4. Now, we will begin.
Welcome to the dojo. The dojo.
100K deal that even a newbie can do. That's the topic of today's show. This is Todd Toback, and welcome to the No Limits Real Estate Investing Podcast. Whether you're trying to do your first real estate deal or you're trying to scale your business to a high 6 or 7 figures and have a business that throws off cash month after month after month without your personal day-to-day involvement, this podcast is for you. And if you have not been to our website, my gift to you, go to nextlevelwholesaling.com, and there's an assessment there for you that's going to score you in the 4 areas of your wholesaling business. That's marketing, acquisition, disposition, right? How we sell our properties, and accounting, right? How much money are we keeping every single month? That sounds so much sexier than accounting, right? How much money are we making? So make sure to go to nextlevelwholesaling.com and download the assessment today. All right, so let's talk about a case study, right? The 100K deal. Oh, it's just so juicy. I love those things, and you should too, because I can tell you these things really move the needle in your business. And if you can't tell, my enthusiasm is just pouring over today because I just love these things. And I can tell you that my students and clients who have done these things, they've got this mindset shift. Things just change for them and their eyes open and they say, I never want to go back to doing those little tiny deals, which zap your energy and your bank account. So if you could brainwash yourself by listening to this podcast, starting from day one, man, you are going to be so far ahead of the curve. If you're a newbie and you're thinking, oh, well, I just want to start off with a 5 or a 10K deal, that's a huge mistake, right? If you are brand new and you've never done a deal, this podcast is for you because you don't want to train yourself in bad habits. You're looking for big deals, and that's one of my trademarks. That's one of my specialties. So let's get into some real life. So I recently had a private client come to me and say, Todd, I want you to teach me how to do wholesale deals, right? I want to market directly to sellers. And so he was in a very competitive market. And my message to him was, okay, well, if you're going to go to this competitive market, which is awesome, right? I love competitive markets. We've got to go for big deals, right? We got to go for 100K deals. And so he went out and in his first 4 months, he did 3 deals, right? One was a $120,000 deal. Another one was a $70,000 deal. And another one was a $40,000 deal for his first 3 deals. And actually, I think he could have squeezed more money out of the last 2 deals, the 70K and the 40K. I think he could have done 100K on the second one and probably a 60 to 80 on the third one. But the funny thing is that we were slightly disappointed, but also laughing, right? That the 40K deal was a disappointment, right? We were really looking for those big deals and always pushing that limit. And as a side note, I recently had another client do a $425,000 wholesale deal, right? That is correct. You heard that, a $425,000 wholesale deal. So do not put limits on yourself, right? This is the No Limits Real Estate Investing Podcast, after all. And so I want to let you know that this is real. It's happening in today's market, and the real estate market is competitive. But guess what, right? If you're out there and your eyes are open and you are looking for them, you're going to find them. My mentor, Dan Sullivan, says the eyes only see and the ears only hear what the mind is looking for. All right. So I want to tell you about a 100K deal that we just did in our business, right? This just happened and the wire is fresh in, right? Just happened. And so I was really motivated to tell you about this thing because not only are our clients killing it, but we're doing these deals. And so a lady called our company voicemail, some of our marketing, and said, I'm interested in selling my property, but really I want to do a trade. And, we've gotten these phone calls before, and sometimes when someone gets a phone call like this, they're like, you know what, I'm not really interested. This person doesn't sound that motivated. But we have a company policy on every single lead that do not assume motivation, right? Do not assume that this person doesn't have a problem that we can solve. Make sure you talk to them, you build rapport, listen, right? And see if a deal can happen. Long story short, our acquisition specialist went out there, right? Locked up this house at a phenomenal price, huge spread. And the seller says, listen, I just need another house to move into, right? This one is too big for me. I want to downsize. And so if you could find me a good deal on something else, then let's do it. So immediately our acquisition specialist looked on the list of other wholesalers in town, right? So he's on a list where other wholesalers shoot out properties that they're trying to move. And he just said, hey, what you got? And talked to 3 or 4 wholesalers, and boom, he found the perfect house for this lady. And so actually the lady who was moving out of her old house got a smoking deal on the new house. She basically picked up a wholesale deal. We decided that we weren't going to make any money on the on her new buy side, on her new house, because we got such a great deal on the buying of her property. And the one thing I can tell you is that, you know, I love our selling system, right? The way that we do business, because we're so transparent, right? We're never trying to deceive the sellers of what their house is worth or trying to pull the wool over their eyes. People who sell to us know what we do, right? They are trading equity for speed and convenience. And so it was very transparent of us buying the house and looking and working with this other wholesaler and us putting them together. And long story short, we made 6 figures on this deal. We bought the house for around $170,000, and we were going to sell it for $315,000 to $320,000. And after buying it and taking it down, and when I mean taking it down, we actually did come to the table with cash. And I'm going to address how you can do this if you're brand new, right? And then we are going to wait for her to move out for 2 weeks, and then we sold it, right? And so I think it's really, really, really important for you to understand. Number 1, we didn't assume motivation. Number 2 is we found a solution. Number 3, it's not about deceiving the seller, right? We are actually offering a phenomenal solution. And then 4, right, it's about that execution. And so, man, I can tell you that the wire hitting that account feels so good, right? And the client that I told you about loved those 100K deals, and especially the client with the $425,000 deals. You can do these deals too. So I put together a quick 6-step process for you to do your first or next 100K deal, even if you're brand new and you don't have any money in the bank or experience. And actually, you're better off being slightly naive and new. Okay, I can tell you the people who are the most naive in this business make the most money. So step 1 is, and I'm assuming that you're marketing. So if you're listening to this podcast and you don't know that you've got to be out there marketing every single day, right? Go back and listen to those, but I'm assuming that you're marketing. So I'm going to leave that out of step 1. But step 1 is that when you have a lead come in, never make assumptions on the phone when the phone rings, whether you have a big deal or not a big deal, right? Always assume that you're going for the big deal. Your mind has to be locked on, right? Locked on like a target, like a heat-seeking missile on that 100K deal, because if you're looking for it, you're eventually going to find it. So do not assume that the person that you're talking to will not give you a 100K deal. I can tell you, as a matter of personal experience, that we actually bought 2 condos from the president of the National Association of Realtors. Okay, now if you are brand new, this is someone who's been in the business for a long time, highly sophisticated, a lot of contacts. Realtors tend to be really, really cocky and not like investors or wholesalers. And he sold us 2 deals, and we made $76,000 on the 2 of them by wholesaling them. Now, that was short of $100,000. I wish we would have made $100,000. And frankly, if we were as good of negotiators today, or if we were as good of a negotiator then as we are today, we probably would have made 100K on this deal. But that is probably one of my most favorite deals because of who we bought it from and the contacts that person had and the value that we brought. And so I was just really, really excited. And the one thing I always tell my team is never make assumptions, right? Never make assumptions, because they are calling us for a reason. They're looking for an unconventional solution. And we provide that, right? So remember, keep your eye on the prize for that 100K deal. Expect it, okay? And eventually, it's going to come to you. Okay, step 2, listen. You want to ask great questions and then listen again. And when it hurts, I want you to listen some more. You've got to use the techniques in the no limit selling system. Okay. I talk a lot about them in this podcast. I do a lot of teaching on this podcast. And so if you don't have money to invest in the no limit selling system, hey, it won't hurt my feelings. Listen to the podcast, get as much information as you can for free. But if you really, really, really want to dig in, the no limit selling system is the exact process I use to train my acquisition specialist. It's the same process that I've used to train thousands of investors across the country. And if you know someone who's killing it, they're probably using the no limit selling system. So if you want to know more about that, you can go to nolimitsalessystem.com. And I've got some training videos there for you that you can listen to and learn from. Or if you just want to skip that and buy the system, go to nolimitsalessystem.com/backdoor if you're like just a give me the meat kind of guy. So nolimitsalessystem.com/backdoor. Okay, so step 3, you got to go for the big deal, right? You've got to grab the bull by the horns. Don't be scared. You can't be too worried about losing a deal and asking for a big discount, right? If you don't ask, you're never going to get it, right? You got to ask for the discount. I can promise you that if you are scared of losing the deal and you're always going for that 10 or 20% margin, you're going to get it, right? You're going to get exactly that 10 to 20 margin that you're asking for. Now, is there a chance, right? Is there a chance that you could lose a small deal because you're going after a big deal? Yeah, but if the seller is truly motivated, probably not, right? You want to build rapport, you want to make a friend, you want to listen. And so really, if you have built rapport properly and you go too low, you most likely can recover from a lowball offer if the seller says no, but they might say yes. And if you don't ask, you're not going to get it. Okay. Number 4 is that you should have your own money lined up to take these deals down. In this case study, it was best for us to take the deal down because the seller needed 30 days after we bought the property to move out, right? And the transition with us finding a new property for her. And by the way, that was really an uncommon deal, but it worked out, right? So because of the timing, we just decided to take it down. Now, I have actually done a whole podcast series on how to raise money for your deal. So you can go listen to that. But here's a little trick, by the way. If you are in San Diego or if you are in the Treasure Coast of Florida, then I would love to partner with you, right? So if you need the money to take these deals down or you want to partner with us or wholesale it to us or whatever that is, send an email to support@nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com, support@nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com, and we would love to partner with you in those areas, okay? You can also raise your own money, which is fairly easy to do over a period of time. Just take some discipline. All right. Number 5 is deliver, right? Go ahead and if you're going to tell the seller that you're going to close on the property, and either way, you should be able to wholesale that sucker, but deliver, close, do what you say, and then ask the seller for referrals. I can tell you that our biggest deals, our best deals, our deals with the least resistance have usually come from referrals. And again, if you don't ask, you don't get. Okay, very, very, very important. If you don't ask, you don't get. Now, step 6, this is really, really important. You got to rinse and you got to repeat. Okay, so one thing that I can tell you that I see, and this is very, very dangerous, is newbies or really people who are not used to doing 100K deals. They tend to go out and get this huge pop, right? And the money comes and hits their account and they are so excited. And then what happens is the most dangerous thing of all happens is that now they self-sabotage themselves, right? They think subconsciously, I'm not worthy of this money or I don't deserve this money. So you know what I have to do? I have to now decrease my work activity. I have to take a vacation. I'm going to live a little bit of, the good life, and I'm going to take some time off. And all of a sudden, at first, it doesn't feel like anything is changing. But over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, you're kind of taking it easy. And then your momentum is crushed. And then all of a sudden, that 100K that you had in the bank, pretty much all profit, starts to dwindle and you start to doubt yourself. And maybe you just can't do another 100K deal. Maybe I was just lucky. I talk a lot about the income thermostat here. So, what you must do once you get that 100K deal is become extremely unsatisfied. Okay. I want you to be like an addict after 100K deals, and you're going to want more and more and more and more, and most importantly, bigger deals. So here's a technique. Try to break your record, right? So if your biggest deal before was not 100K, now I want you to do 100K. The next one should be 150. Next one should be 200. Next thing should be 250. Next thing should be 300. Before you know it, you're trying to do $1 million deals. And yes, those are possible. Okay, you got to keep breaking these limiting beliefs. I remember when I first got started and I did my first $40,000 deal, I just couldn't believe it, right? It was mind-blowing to me. And just like I told you, I shut off my activity, right? I let my laziness kick in and I'm thinking, oh, I just got lucky. And so it was a fluke. And so I really stopped working for a period of time and I didn't do my next deal for a really, 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 really long time. Now, in our business, I have a cadence, right? A weekly cadence where everyone's like, what's next? What's next? What's the deal? How can we break the record? And so we're intentionally, right, keeping our eye on the scoreboard to make sure that we are always pushing, never satisfied, right? We are never resting on our laurels. And I promise you, if you do this, you're going to see your bank account explode. Your net worth is going to go through the roof. You're going to be able to build your business and you're going to see a huge profit margin. And really, it's going to increase the overall satisfaction of your business because it proves that you're bringing value to the marketplace. All right. When you do big deals, it proves that you're bringing value. So I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you have not left a review for the No Limits Real Estate Investing podcast on iTunes, I want to let you know, for those of you who have done it, I really, really appreciate it. But if you haven't, if you could leave a review on iTunes, we read them, we see them, and I really personally appreciate them. And also, if you have a partner or a colleague or someone else you think really needs to hear this episode, just copy and paste the link from wherever you consume the content and text it to 3 or more of your friends who need to do bigger deals. I'm telling you, you're going to give them the gift. This is the needle mover, and I want to give this to you. Also, head on to our website, nextlevelwholesaling.com, download the assessment, and let me know your score. Otherwise, I'll talk to you on the next episode.